had like the gigantic like epidural sized needles, and they're just like pulling vials of fluid. Hi guys, welcome back. It is me, Drew, and today's video that I have for you, I am here with my 3 weeks post having excess skin removal, a 360 trunk lift, surgery update. Last time you saw me, I was in pretty bad shape. I'm in a little bit better shape today, as some of the other things that were happening last week are not happening now, but I'm still kind of having some struggles. Real quick, if you're brand new to my YouTube channel, hi, welcome. My name is Drew. If you want to join the Just Like Drew crew, click the red subscribe button down below this video. Join our family. You can hear more about my plastic surgery journey. I will link videos down below this video that kind of fill you in more better about me and my weight loss journey and story, as well as we do a lot of other fun stuff on this channel, like subscription unboxings and things like that that kind of are just totally unrelated to this whole situation. So this week, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about are like my surgical drains. And so last week there was a lot of like icky TMI kind of stuff. There's a little bit of that this week, but not nearly as bad as it was last week. So I have my phone here with my list on it of things, just because my memory is still doing kind of poorly. So in terms of like energy and stuff like that, I'm doing better than I was last week. Last week I started dehydrating really badly. I actually almost went into the hospital last weekend because I didn't think I was going to be able to beat like the dehydration hump. My drains were kind of going crazy last week. So when a drain is full, it's like 100. So like the little, you know, one of the little drainage things, if it's full all the way, that's like 100. And basically one night I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and I ended up having it fill up 3 times in a row. So I had to dump it 3 times within 1 hour. That was basically 300 of fluid, and like it was just building up and it was going crazy. And on top of that, you know, the week before I was having some stomach issues, so I really wasn't able to keep much in my system. So I kind of just like didn't think I was going to make it past that. I almost went in for an IV, but thankfully I kind of just kept pushing fluids and sought some advice based on the fluid I was losing, based on the fluid I was taking in, and found out that I was kind of doing okay. It was just kind of like I was trying to fight like that exhaustion and dizziness from being dehydrated before, because of all of the issues I had with digestion and fluid issues earlier in the week. So I'm still experiencing pain. The thing that's been kind of weird about this recovery is there's kind of no way to like gauge this. Like, you know, I think I said this last week, it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like things kind of just keep happening and changing all the time. One day I'll have energy and feel like I can take on the world, and then the next day it's like I can barely move. I was able to make it to the gym one day this week. I did half a mile on the track, walking very slowly. It took me about 30 minutes to do half of a mile, which is a little bit of an ego burn, I won't lie. It was hard because I saw a lot of the people that, you know, I used to be like lifting weights with and was crushing it next to in the gym, and I'm there like barely able to walk 4 laps, and you know, it's hard feeling like I'm starting over from zero right now, because my energy is so low, and like the pain maintenance and all that is just kind of its own thing. I am still on pain medicine, so unfortunately I'm not driving yet still. I really thought I'd be driving within like a week of having, like, not a week, but like after, you know, about a week of having my surgery, I thought I'd be driving. I'm still not, because the pain medicine, you can't drive while you have that, and the pain is just too unpredictable. I can make it usually a few hours in the morning, and then after I've basically moved around and done some things, then it's like the pain starts to set in and I have like this mass soreness from everything that I just did. So there's also been an increase in swelling in my body. There's been a lot of swelling in my back and in my sides, as well as in my legs. My legs have swollen up considerably, and like places where I had like excess skin on my legs, I've actually have like fluid, like mass amounts of fluid in. And I spoke to my doctor about it today, and I was like hoping he'd be like, oh yeah, this is totally gonna go away. And he's like, well, we hope it goes away. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, basically I'm gonna have to possibly, more than likely, wear like compression leggings, so like which I kind of already wore really tight leggings before surgery, so that's not something new to me. But basically I'm probably gonna have to wear like Spanx and stuff like that after surgery for a while to try and compress the fluid out. He also said I'm gonna have to basically like massage my thighs on a regular basis to try and move that fluid, because he said before surgery everything kind of drains upward and all the fluid goes up and out, and now it's all pushing itself down because I had this reconstruction. So my doctor even said today too, you know, because I kind of have just been feeling like, geez, like what's the deal? Like, you know, some people like they get, you know, a tummy tuck and they're just like back bouncing at it like right away, and some people, you know, they struggle, and I'm like, why has this been so just crazy? And he said, well, honestly, he's like, this is one of the hardest recoveries for a person to go through. He said, because you know, it's not just like a tummy tuck. He's like, it's really like a full reconstruction of the entire like, you know, core of somebody. And so he's like, the recovery for this is very, very hard, and there's a lot of complications that can basically come with it. And so that part of it is kind of difficult, just because it feels like every time I feel like I'm making some progress, you know, in one way, it's like I feel like something else happens and it's like a new hurdle to face and deal with. And so I don't at any point feel like I'm just like doing better. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like there'll be some things that are doing better, but then something else happens that wasn't happening before. So it kind of just, I don't know, kind of like that one step forward, two steps back type thing. On to the drain situation. So basically I've been having weird stuff with my drains. Like I said, they were going crazy over the weekend. Then for a couple days my drains kind of weren't doing anything. Like I was barely draining any fluid at all. And that's when I noticed I started having a mass amount of swelling happening in my thighs and legs, and there was swelling on my right side and on my left side. And my doctor was like, well, you know, we tell you it's gonna inflate a little bit after surgery and things re-poof out. And I was like, no, this is like swelling. This isn't like, you know, like my skin's loosened up after having the surgery. And then he felt it and he was like, oh my gosh, that is a lot of swelling. And then he looked at my back and he was like, well, your back is really, really swollen too. Well, one of my drains kind of hasn't been working at all, the one that was mainly draining the fluid from my back. So they ended up removing that one because it's not actively working. So then one of my other drains, the one in my left leg that is still there, so I have one in my right leg and one still in my left leg, so I'm down to 2 drains. I started with 4. The one in my left leg is draining well, but it's now leaking at like the drain site. So basically I noticed this, like this happened like a few weeks ago where it like leaked a little bit, and I was like, oh, no big deal. Well, it started like leaking this last week, and so randomly I'll just be like standing somewhere or like sitting down, and all of a sudden I'll just feel like fluid like pouring out of my leg. And it's kind of really gross and embarrassing, and it sucks. I was actually I was out somewhere, I was sitting down just in a chair, and all of a sudden I felt like this weird sensation on my leg. I looked down next to me and there's like a pile of fluid next to me on the ground. And it's really embarrassing, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to tell anyone about this, but at the same time I have to find a way to clean this up and whatever. And so like stuff like that's been going on. So it's like I have to walk around, like keep a towel nearby in case my leg just starts leaking randomly and just like fluid starts coming out. I don't know. So he said that's normal. That's something that happens. It's not something like to be concerned about. It's just kind of happening. And going back to my back being really swollen, so today I go to the doctor and I thought he was just, you know, going to be like, okay, we checked you out, we'll see you in a few days, whatever. And because of the swelling in my back, he ended up calling in his surgical assistant, and they had to like physically start removing fluid from my back. And it wasn't just like, we're going to take a little bit, like they had like the gigantic like epidural sized needles, and they're just like pulling vials of fluid out of my back. Sorry, I'm like still like about it. I don't know. Like after this surgery, my stomach has been really, really weak. Honestly, like I get easily nauseous, like really dizzy. But like I used to like be able to handle stuff, and like recently it's like I just can't handle anything. So I'm sitting there, and my mom was actually with me. Helicopter mom's with me with the kids in the room, and all of a sudden I was like, Mom, take the kids out. And she's like, what? I was like, just take the kids out. I'm already telling you, this is not something the kids need me here for. So they just start like pulling fluid from me, and all of a sudden my doctor's like, do you need to lay down? And I'm like, yeah, because I started getting really dizzy and lightheaded because all this fluid's just like suddenly like getting released from my body, and also it was just like freaking me out. And I'm like, thankfully I tell you guys I keep handfuls of anti-nausea candy. I just start eating tons of, like I just start sucking on anti-nausea candy, then bring me some water, I lay down, and I'm just like breathing deeply, trying to like do meditation, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, trying to relax. And basically they removed a bunch of the fluid, and then they had me rest for a while. I think they went and saw maybe another patient or something in between, and then came and removed more fluid. Unfortunately, I might have to do that again the next time I see him and keep doing it because my body like just isn't draining fluid properly. The thought was at first, well, your body's like no longer needing to drain much, and now it's the thought of my body's maybe just not draining properly. Also, he did notice there was a lot of redness on my left side. So he's concerned that there might be an infection starting, not one that they're like aware of. So they don't actually think that there's an active infection right now, but basically they're going to have me start a 10-day of antibiotics just to kind of preemptively fight against that, because he said one of the big issues with all this fluid is that the fluid can become infected, and then that's when like stuff really gets wild and fun. So he's like, we haven't had fever and chills. Well, I had chills last week, but I haven't had fever. I don't know. So basically they are going to start me on antibiotics and hope that that will just take away the redness. And if there is any kind of infection starting, that it will kind of just fight it immediately. So that's kind of what's going on. I'm looking at my list real quick just to make sure I don't really have anything else. Also, I've noticed that my skin's kind of been freaking out. Like my skin has kind of been breaking out a little bit. And so that's kind of a little bit weird as well. Like my skin and everything seemed like it was glowing, and I think my body's just starting to get stressed out by everything. So that's kind of the main of it this week. A lot of it, like I said, related to drains, fluid, and stuff like that. So now like my back is just kind of sore because like I said, they were like poking and pulling and draining all this fluid out of me, and it was just kind of a situation. So like I said, this recovery has been kind of intense, and it's hard. I'm thankful I'm sharing all of this with all of you, because honestly, like I would have had I had no idea that this recovery was this intense. The thing it's hard for me though is I really don't want anyone to feel discouraged from getting a surgery like this. If you've had significant weight loss, I'm just trying to help prepare you at the same time, and just know that everyone's recovery is going to be different. And also, not everyone who has significant weight loss will need a full stomach reconstruction like I did. I just happened to be 5'6" and lost 250 pounds, so my stomach kind of needed to be fully and completely redone. So overall, I'm doing okay. It's more right now, like I said before, that it's like that mental game of trying to just stay mentally in the game to stay strong and to stay confident that I will get through this, that things will look good when everything is said and done, because things are so swollen right now and things aren't very attractive on my body. I was hoping I'd get to show my stomach this week, but just because of everything that happened with the needles and everything, I'm kind of a little bit bandaged up back here, and everything's swollen. I'm just kind of exhausted, so I will try and show that in the next week or so what my stomach actually looks like. If not on here, I'll maybe try and post a little something on Instagram, which is at Justlikedrew, spelled the same way as it is on here. So yeah. I don't know. I like I said, for me right now, the biggest thing is just trying to kind of stay strong mentally in this, and know that everything is going to be okay, and I'm going to get through this journey and this recovery. Even though some days it just feels like I'm just constantly climbing a mountain, like with a conveyor belt that is like sliding me back down. But I'm going to stay strong. And sorry, I'm getting so emotional about this. I'm really sorry. It's just been really hard. But I'm gonna be okay. It's just hard. Like, it's just really hard. Please don't pity me or anything like that. I'm just being honest with you. Like, it's been a mental struggle, honestly, to stay positive and to stay strong and just keep pushing myself. But I'm gonna keep doing it. I want you guys to know that unrelated to the plastic surgery journey, I will be starting box week soon. If I don't start within the next couple days, it will definitely be starting beginning of next week. I just want to make sure that I have the energy to take that on, because as you guys know, box week, we hang out, we comment back and forth, we do that thing, and I need to make sure that I am like ready to do all of that, and I don't want to start it and then I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, which I'm very tired. But otherwise, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm strong. My kids have been amazing, honestly. Like, the time with my kids has been like the truest reward of this time, just getting to spend time with them. and love on them and just be around them and experience time with them. That's been beautiful and amazing. So if anything else, that is the best part of this whole recovery, is time with my girls. And it's been cool hanging out with my parents, even though, you know, it's like, you know, sometimes they can get on your nerves, but I love my parents. They're awesome and they've been really supportive as well. So that's all I have for you guys today, but if you want to see more photos of me, you can check me out on Instagram, Snapchat, and on Twitter at Justlikedrew, spelled the same way as down below. If you want to be part of the Just Like Drew crew and you're not already, click the red subscribe button down below this video and join our forever family, because we are literally the best crew around, because anybody and everybody can be in our crew. I love you guys so stinking much, and if you like this video and you want to see more from me, you know what to do. Just like Drew, have an amazing day, have an amazing week, have an amazing life, and I will see you very, very soon, because we are going to be starting box week in the next couple of days, which means we are going to be filling up our stockpile giveaway in the next couple of days, and I'm really excited about that. All right, talk to you. Love you. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. He's like, just try and take it out. You know, he's like, if it falls out, he's like, you actually only need 1 tube. He's like, but we give you 4 just because that way, like, if your body, like, you know, one of the